They became acting. Then at our first annual meeting, we were supposed to do an election to elect the chair and the vice chair, but they were trying not to do an election at all. We had to force the fact that we needed to do one, and then they were only going to try to do it for the vice chair down. There's some reason why, I'm really not going to say that, but in my opinion, we should have done the election at the very first meeting in October, which should have been our annual meeting, due to the fact that the fiscal year ended on 30 September. Mm-hmm. So what should happen is, at the end of the year, there's 2 more board members every year, because we alternate the times that our 2-year term is up. Okay, so there's 2 more board members possibly every year. At the end of that year, which is 30 September, that very first meeting in October should be our annual meeting, and we should vote and elect a chair and a vice chair with the 4 to 5 individuals that are on the new board. Mm-hmm. Because the individuals from the last board that's resigning don't have a vote anymore. Yeah. So, but they try to push this thing over on me and Justin Hartsfield that, you know, they just a seat. That's how it works. And I'm trying to explain to them, no, that's not how it works. So that's the reason why we're doing an election at the on the 17th. Okay. But it is my opinion too that you've been in our meetings. They're out of control. And they're out of control because the acting chair doesn't have any, does not know Robert's Rules of Order. So she won't control the meeting. Miss Melissa Brown should not be able to come up in the meeting and scream and shout and fuss about stuff like that, especially not on the agenda. Nor should Annalise be able to do that. And when we talk about Annalise, I will tell you my exact words to her. And in my opinion, I still believe the same. My exact words to Annalise was that there's an underlying reason that Melissa Brown and these other organizations want to keep that building open. And the underlying reason is because originally they were going to try to use that building as a campaign headquarters when she runs for mayor and when Gable runs for councilman. In my opinion, that's not putting the people first. Mm-hmm. That's putting their political thoughts first. Yeah. So because I said this, Miss Annalise told me at that point she felt insulted because of who she was and all the stuff that she did. What I was saying was in no means towards her. It was a comment about the people who are trying to push her up front to do all this for LULAC and say it's for LULAC, but in the back of their mind, they're trying to pull the wool over her eyes and use it for their own purposes.
Do you have any proof of that?
Proof of what?
That Melissa Brown and Mr. Montalvo are going to try to use it as like their personal campaign headquarters?
Well, the only proof that I have of that is, and I will tell you, I'm going to tell you this because I'm from Chicago, but my parents were all country folks. My father used to say, a hit dog will bark. Once I mentioned this, now I got this from a source, which I'm not going to give up my source, but once I mentioned it in public, that's when all of them start wanting to attack me, and all of them wanted to converse behind closed doors to try to get rid of me off the board, because I mentioned certain things in public, and because I asked certain questions. In my opinion, we are not, the board as a whole, are not getting everything that's going on. Mm-hmm. Just last week, we found out, the last meeting, we found out about the lawsuit, that we had to speak to the lawyer about the lawsuit. If you're in an organization and you're a board member, that's one of the first briefings that they should give you, is that, oh, by the way, we have a couple of lawsuits out there that you might want to know about, and we might have to go in a closed meeting sometime to do this. Mm-hmm. The agreement from CTOP, they wanted us to vote on that agreement yesterday without even, last week, without even reading that agreement. And we said no, we wasn't gonna vote on that agreement without even reading it. And after reading it, it's some things that needs to change in there.
Could you maybe tell me what some of those are?
I kind of don't want to go into that until we talk about it with CTOP, because I'm not trying to, I think they were just, the person that typed it up, because it don't have any signatures on it. I think it was just misunderstanding with the person that typed it up.
All right, that's fair.
But would you sign a 8-page document without reading it?
Yeah, I hear you.
When it could be giving up thousands of dollars that could go to the public, or when it could be giving up material or equipment that is may or may not be owned by KHA. So any agreement that we sign should be transparent, and the agreement should be known, be spoken about in an open meeting, versus here we got to sign this, or here we supposed to vote. It shows up on the agenda that we're supposed to vote on it, but we've never seen it. That's the reason we're having a emergency meeting tomorrow, another meeting tomorrow, because me and Mr. Hartfield would not sign this, or would not vote on it because we hadn't read it.
Right, yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. And
So in answer to your question, because I am a transparent person, all I have is my source that told me that, and what happened after I mentioned it. After I mentioned it, all heck broke loose. Everybody was mad at Mr. Whiteside because I mentioned that one thing. I attacked the lady. I was told I attacked the lady because I mentioned they wanted to utilize this as
which lady?
Annalise,
okay.
the one that put in the complaint. She claimed I attacked her, or I insulted her, and she claimed I insulted her. There was no words that said could be an assault. There was no words that said that could assault her or anybody. I didn't ask her for anything. I didn't say anything. I didn't threaten anything physically. All I said was there are some underlying conditions that people are trying to use this building for, and everybody got upset. So I'm coming to the news to be transparent, because I will tell you, all my life I've been that guy. When I sit in front of the colonel or the general when I was active duty, if you don't want to know the truth, don't ask Mr. Whiteside, because I'm going to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I have no reason to lie. I'm doing this for free. I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart, and the only gratitude I get for it is when I see and I know that I helped some family get into their homes, or made sure that somebody rent was paid. You know, it hurt me to my heart to be sitting at home and see somebody on TV saying, KHA haven't paid my bills and I'm about to get evicted and all this. So when I saw that stuff and there was a slot open, I volunteered to be a member of the board. But I didn't volunteer to be a member of the board to conflict with any body in public. I didn't volunteer to, and I will say it because I'm going to say this, and I'm going to tell you the truth. The first meeting after I had the first meeting on the board, and at the first meeting well, not the first meeting, but the meeting we closed down the community center, people on my Facebook started getting messages and calls from Miss Melissa Brown. And that's the reason why I said she was a Facebook stalker, because in my opinion, that's what she was doing. And I have the messages that I will share them with you so that you can see I do have proof of that. Which I will tell you that, to me, I understand politics, but that was totally unprofessional. And if she is running for a mayor, that's not the type of person that I would want to be the mayor of my city.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I will tell you honestly, I spend a lot of time in leadership. And sometimes in leadership, you have to have the moral courage to do the right thing, to do the hard right versus the easy wrong. And that's what I'm trying to do, the hard right. Voting to shut down the community center was the right thing at the time, because there was no insurance on the community center, and there's still no insurance. The insurance policy that insurance certificate that she had is not an insurance policy. It is an insurance certificate that covers LULAC. It does not cover the Morris Rose Community Center. It just covers LULAC, and if they're in there, it will cover their organization.
That's Anna Louisa, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have an email also here from the insurance agent, because yes, I did, and I'm again, I am full transparency. If I did it, I will say I did it. I did call the insurance company because I was tasked to check up on insurance and to find out more about insurance for the board to make sure that we can get some things insured. I did call the insurance company because my question was, they said that insurance was on the building. How do you get an insurance policy on a building that you don't have a lease on or anything like that? Because the insurance agent is supposed to see the lease and make sure that you have the permission to do an insurance policy on that. And the insurance lady told me, no, that's not an insurance policy, that's an insurance certificate. Then she sent me back an email to confirm our conversation, and I replied to her, and I got the whole email here. I can print it, I can send it to you if you like.
Yeah, I was just about to, actually, you know what, I might have a business card, maybe I'll just give you that. Anything that you need to send, you can send here.
Okay. Now, I will tell you, I'm not trying to cause any problem, I'm just trying to do the right thing. Now, do I think that individuals like Melissa Brown, that comes into meetings, even the city hall meetings, comes into meetings and disrupt the meeting, is detrimental to progress? Yes, because I believe, and it is my opinion, that if we did more, if we focus that energy on doing what's right and focus that energy on fixing the problem versus getting upset with the people that try to fix the problem, we as a city will go a long way. I also see her at the meetings. I had to stop her at 2 meetings ago when Mayor Debbie Nash was up speaking because she was in the back making comments and different things like that. Now, I will tell you, this is the mayor of our city. That's disrespectful. And when you go to meetings, yes, you have the right to free speech. But the truth of the matter is, the individuals on those boards, in my opinion, have the right to free speech also. Now, with Ms. Anna Louise, if she thinks that if what I said threatened her, I am totally sorry, because that was not what was supposed to, that was not what was meant to do. What I told her was there are some underlying conditions on why people are trying to rent this building out. Now, as for them standing up in an open meeting and saying that insurance policy, that was an insurance policy, and that the building would be covered, in my opinion, I don't think that was truthful, and nor do I think that was professional. Because if somebody would have went over there and got hurt, KHA would have been on the limb for that. If they wasn't a part of LULAC, when they're telling us that was a policy for the building.
I was going to ask you. You said you made reference to Melissa Brown and the other ones renting out the building. Is this something separate from just them getting the insurance policy?
No. In order to get an insurance policy on a building,
yeah,
you have to have some type of lease or agreement to occupy that building. It has to be a lease because the insurance company has to see that paperwork showing that you're going to be responsible for this building now.
Okay.
And that the owner of that building authorized you to get this insurance. It's similar to if I saw your house and say that was a nice house, I'm just going to go to the insurance company and I'm going to give me an insurance policy on that house. You cannot do that. Commercial property, I work in commercial property as well as residential property. Right now I have half a code listed as commercial properties. you cannot just take a commercial, and I run my office out of somebody else's building, which I had to rent in turn before I can get insurance. I had to take them the lease, send them the lease so I can get insurance on my building.
Right.
One, you can't do that, and we don't have a lease nor an agreement with them.
Okay. Can we go back to the whole situation with the meeting that you said you were excluded from?
Yes.
What was that a meeting about?
Okay, that was a meeting with Councilman Adams, Annalise, and Councilman Adams, Annalise. It was supposed to be Councilman Adams and Annalise because they were trying to do some joint venture, and myself and Ebony Jackson. Mm-hmm. But instead, because Annalise said that I insulted her organization and that they didn't want me on the call, which is not her call, nor is it Ebony Jackson's call, because Ebony Jackson is the acting chair. She doesn't have any authority to take me off that call as a board member. Mm. Especially when we mentioned it in the open, when we said in the open meeting, this is who will be on the call. Mm. So, but instead they put Mr. Hatfield on the call, Hartsfield, who asks time and time again, why isn't Mr. Whiteside on the call? Then sent me the invite to the call, and I went to go into the call, and they denied me from entering the call.
And why would they do that?
I don't know. I will tell you honestly, I don't know. Because one, if somebody had a complaint about me at my business, that you want to do business with me, then, and it's an unfounded complaint, it was not registered with the mayor, it was not, no investigation going on or anything, somebody just didn't like what I said, they have no right to keep me off a business meeting when we're trying to talk about the community center or something like this. They keep me off the business meeting. In my opinion, it's because I am trying to do the right thing. I am not trying to cover anything up, and I keep on asking and keep on saying that there's something being, stuff is being hid. The board members are not getting all the information, and I truly am not getting all the information. Mm. They keep saying they talked to HUD, and that HUD said this and HUD said that, but they don't show us any other traffic. And then sometime we come to find out that HUD haven't said anything. So between Miss Jackson and Gabriel, and this other lady, somebody's hiding something, and they're afraid. In my opinion, they're afraid that I'm gonna find it. Every time I talk about investigations and different things like that, they reference an investigation that's going on, that's the FBI and stuff like that. That investigation was a past investigation that's still going on. Once all those people left, we should have had an audit come in to find out what was going on. We don't even know what equipment we have because we have not did an inventory like I said we need to do. Mm. And we wouldn't have said the car was stolen if I wouldn't have mentioned it at the last meeting and said, hey, we need to report that car stolen. Mm. So, in my opinion, somebody is trying to do business as status quo. And that's the reason we're in this situation to begin with. Yeah. We have to make the hard change to do business right. If we don't make the hard change, we're going to keep on doing the same thing over and over again, which is the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting things to change.
Yeah. Well, when you bring this up to them, I guess, like outside of the meetings, like what do they tell you or say to you?
Yeah, we're gonna work on it. We're gonna fix this or we're gonna fix that. But then they go behind my back and try to talk about getting me replaced. Mm-hmm. So.
But they can't replace you because you were appointed by the mayor, right?
Right. So, but it's still not professional. And I truly think that, in my opinion, I think that these complaints from these ladies are things that are being through by other people also. Because the first complaint, the first time that I said that Melissa Brown was a Facebook stalker, she came up to me, and I had Miss Bracy right there with me. She came up to me and she apologized, and she said, "That's what I do. I checked them out too." And that she was sorry because she was impressed that I defended them for the work that they did on that call that day. Because people were upset about them, and I said, no, they're trying as hard as they can, and I defended their character. So she was surprised. So she came up and she apologized to me, and at the same time said, that's what she do. She just investigated people. She investigated them. So my statement and my opinion was true. You stalked my Facebook. You called my Facebook friends, people that are friends of mine on Facebook, and you asked them if I lived in Killeen. You asked them if I owned property in Killeen. Then you told them, I can't know that you're the one that's doing it. My wife saw that and was wondering if it was some woman trying to get in touch with me, or if it was some woman I was trying to mess around with. You know, so she caused problems not only at the board, but in my household. But this is the person that wants to run for mayor. That's totally unprofessional to me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Okay. Well,
so I will show you this so you can see it if you want me to. That's the information about the insurance that Lou Lack stood in the meeting and said it was covering the building.
okay, that makes sense. Yeah, honestly, whatever you have, just send to me. I'll review it all. I mean, obviously, this is something I'm very interested in.
And I truly hate to be the guy that's bringing this out, but like I said, the Lord sends me places that I don't know why He sent me there.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I end up on this board. And if I'm on this board and He sent me here, I am going to do my best to make sure I do the right thing.
Yeah, I hear you.
I am going to forward this email here. To right here, K Limit.
K-Limity at kdhnews.com. While you're doing that, maybe you could tell me a little bit about what, just going through the list of like the other people involved, like what is like in all of this, like what is Ebony Jackson's like she's supposed to be the board chair. You say that she wasn't actually
elected. She was
elected.
They did a election for an acting chair.
Yeah.
When the individuals that resigned. She was supposed to hold that seat until the annual meeting, which should have been in October at the beginning of the fiscal year.
Yeah.
But she was trying to hold the seat the whole time, in my opinion, until we came aboard and to me and Mr. Hartfield came and said, no, there's supposed to be an election. Why aren't we having an election to elect a true chair? Because right now all we have is an acting chair.
Yeah, but are there any like? I mean, you've been in like this type of like you have experience in this. You like what happens if there is no election and they're just
by our bylaws, if people leave, then that chair the person that they put in there as chair becomes interim or acting chair until the next annual meeting. The next annual meeting should have been in January. And that's in the and I pointed that out in the bylaws to Ms. Jackson.
Yeah.
So that's what normally happens. But there should, even by Robert's rules, if anyone takes a term within the term, i.e. somebody come up as an acting president, like say something happened to Biden, and Kamala becomes the president, she becomes the president till the next election, which is every 4 years. Our election is every year because every time we get 4 to 5 new members on the board, every time we redo the board, we're supposed to have an election so that board, seating board, elects the chair and vice chair. Because the chair and vice chair, the chair is the person that they're gonna elect from the board to be able to speak to HUD, and to be able to, be the figurehead in certain meetings. But while we have that chair has no more authority than everybody else. The chair runs the meeting, and she's supposed to control the meeting within Robert's Rules of Order, just like the mayor runs the council meeting. But by no means does she have any more authority than everybody else.
Right. And if she's like the head, at least in like the unofficial way, I mean, like, is she the person that has been talking to the FBI, HUD, OIG, and all that stuff?
She is supposed to be the elected person. When we elect the chair, that is going to be the elected person to talk to them unless they want somebody else. So she's pretty much the spokesperson for the board. She speaks to HUD. But at the same time, if a person as the chair, if they have communications with the board, that communication is supposed to be funneled down, just like in leadership. It's supposed to be funneled down to all members of the board so that we all know what's happening. We should not find out that HUD said X, Y, and Z at a meeting. We should already know that before we go into a meeting. We should already have a packet to prepare us to vote on the things that we're supposed to vote on at that meeting.
Right.
Now, I've been there a whole month. We have problems with the money, getting the money from HUD due to certain issues. In my opinion, being around the military, in my opinion, this really shouldn't be a problem, because if there was a new active investigation on everything that's happened prior to 30 September, then we could have went to HUD and said, okay, this is under investigation back. And normally a governmental agency will say, okay, so that's under investigation, we're gonna find out who did that. But we still need to fund you to operate the funds that you're supposed to fund. But right now, we will not get money from those guys. At least this is what I'm told, that we would, by the people that speak to them, that we will not get money from them because of the investigation. Now, most government investigations go from their back, especially when everybody's gone. But somewhere in some brilliant person's mind, they said, well, this organization still has to run. So we still have to be able to get funds to hire an executive director or to hire the staff that needs to be in there. If not, we don't have an organization. But when I say we're not running like a business, I haven't even seen a budget for the next year or 5 years or the past 5-year budget because they don't have one. They were just running around spending money anyway, and that's the reason why we're here now. That's the reason why the money got commingled, because the budget is your guideline. That guideline tells you how much money you can put here, how much money goes there, and where the money comes from. And they're not doing that. We don't even have a physical budget set up for this year. And the reason why is, in my opinion, I'm going to say this in my opinion, people don't know what they don't know. And that's one of the reasons why I keep saying, one, we need to hire the right person. We need to hire somebody that has a history of this, has a resume that says, okay, I can do X, Y, Z. And in order to do that, we need to go to HUD and say, hey, we still need to operate. So if there was any funding that we were getting for HUD for a physical year to operate with, i.e. the salaries and different things like that, we need that. But in order to get that, in my opinion, this has to be a transparent, real investigation, and people have to be brought on the carpet. Because right now, it looks like they were just doing anything with money. And I'm concerned because, in my opinion, if you were on Section 8 and I took your rent and paid somebody their salary, I'm stealing your rent. And that's what was happening. They were taking people rent and paying people salary. But for some reason, we're trying to, not me, but some reason, certain people, in my opinion, is trying to cover a lot of this stuff up.
And who is that?
And I keep asking about this, and they keep telling me there's no cover up.
Well, who are you asking?
I'm asking Ebony Jackson, and I'm asking Gabriel and Cinda, what's going on, and how do we find out? And every time we have another meeting, we find out something different.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I'll be sitting up there at the table, and you'll see me grab my head, because that's something I just found out. I just found out when they found out.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not trying, I'm not trying to cause any problems.
Yeah.
But I feel that I'm being attacked because I am trying to do the right thing.
Like by the other board members?
Not only by the other board members, by Melissa Brown and by Miss Annalise, who claimed that I insulted her just by saying that there was no other, there was an underlying condition for them keeping that building open.
And Ebony Jackson said at the last meeting that they have, which I thought was very interesting. She said that they had to, that HUD told you guys to be very careful what you say to the media, which
And she told us that in the closed session. And in my opinion, it was because I have been interviewed by a few different media organizations. But when I get on to talk about what's going on, I tell them the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, as I can see it, and as with the information that I have been given. So, just like with the insurance for the building, I had to go out, call the insurance agency, which was all the way in VA, in Virginia, not a local insurance agent, and find out that that wasn't an insurance policy on the building.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, obviously, this all sounds pretty wacky, but it also sounds like there's a lot of unknowns here, and we're kind of trying to get out of like the unknown into the known a little bit, if you know what I mean. Because here's the thing, we've talked to people, and we were like. And we were following up on mismanagement that, around that time that all those staff members quit and and the executive director quit, and we were told by people, Hayward, I think, that, and I don't really, and I think Hayward actually was working for minimum wage at one point. I don't know what her current situation is, she was a volunteer, but we were told there was no mismanagement, and and then things we just keep finding things out, so it's just
That's my point, is that they're telling you this, but that's not what's happening, that's not what happened. They're telling you this, but like you say, you keep finding things out.
Yeah.
They was telling us the same thing on the board. They was telling us that, oh, this is good, but then every time we have a meeting, we find out something new.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, that's not the way you do business.
Yeah.
I will tell you, in my opinion, that Killeen is a small area, town, so a lot of people know each other. It's more to what's going on. And I take that from my very first meeting when we were asking questions, and Melissa Brown from the back of the room raise their hand for the chairman of for the acting chair and say, he's out of order?
Mm-hmm.
Why would a constituent that don't know you raise their hand to try to say he's out of order just because we're asking questions?
Mm.
So I have from a good source that, Ebony and Gabriel has been coming together to talk to people in reference to trying to get me removed. And I will tell you, in my opinion, it's only because I'm trying to do the right thing. We need to find out what's going on, where this money went, and find out what can we do to make sure that if we have to fix the problem. And I'm a firm believer, if you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but they both are trying to get you to remove, but it's just because you're like asking questions about.
That's because I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm asking questions. I'm trying to find out what's going on with certain things, and each time I find out something new, I'm asking why we didn't know this ahead of time. There's so many issues within the Killeen Housing Authority that they're saying that there was no mismanagement, there was none of this and there was none of that, but yet and still everybody quit at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you, in my opinion, some of the people quit because of the complaints that they sent the mayor in reference to the harassment things with Ebony and Gabriel.
Yeah.
So some of the people quit because of that. Some people quit and didn't even know they quit. They were called and told they quit.
That's interesting.
So there's a problem there. And somebody's covering up something that they don't want me to find out. But again, I used to tell my colonels and my generals, if you don't want me to tell you the truth, don't ask Chief, because Chief will get to the bottom of it. And I am here just to fix the problems that's going on. I'm not trying to win a popularity contest. I'm not trying to be the next councilman. I was sent to the board by the Lord to do what I have to do, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. And do you think that there's anything else we should maybe know that maybe hasn't been reported on yet?
Not really. I'm really here to speak on what's going on right now and to make light of this supposedly insult that I made, and to let you all know exactly what I said, but then also to show that, I'm trying to do the right thing, and I see these people that are trying to work with status quo and try to cover up this and keep saying this ain't nothing wrong here, that we need to fix this.
Yeah.
And trying to make me look like the bad guy, and I'm gonna look like the bad guy because I'm trying to do the right thing. And if people don't want the right thing done, I'm gonna be the bad guy. Just like with the closure of the community center, I had to be the bad guy and put it on the floor to close it, but it just made sense. You didn't have insurance. Why are you gonna have them people running around in there?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.